What's good? What's not? Tell me why. And remember that my comment sections are and always will be, even when I'm not here, a safe space. What's good? What's not? Tell me why. And remember, wait, did I just do it a second time? I think I just did it a second time. That's what happened when you don't film regularly. You forget your intro, okay? What's good? What's not? Tell me why. And remember that my comment sections are and always will be a safe space, even when I'm not posting. Welcome back or to my channel where I like to watch a bunch of movies and TV shows just to say I seen it, but also if I see something, I also like to talk about it. And that is what we're here to do, because obviously y'all see the background. That mean when you see this background, that mean it is time to talk, okay? Well, time for me to talk, y'all to listen. Well, y'all could talk in the comment sections, because that would help me out, like, a lot. Like, I would post more, probably. Let me not blame y'all. That is all my fault. Anyway, today I really want to talk about some wrestling, okay? Now, last time I posted a video, it was a WrestleMania season, okay? And I was about to actually do reviews on WrestleMania weekend, you know, with both nights of WrestleMania and Stand and Deliver. But then I messed up. I started watching a bunch of wrestling content, and then slowly but surely, my opinions on the show started to change and just begin to kind of get diluted by everybody else's. And before you knew it, I was just like, I don't even want to do it no more. I gave up. All right. I did not want to just get on here and regurgitate a bunch of information that a bunch of opinions that I've kind of been listening to. Hopefully in the future, I just get better at listening to other people's content and still doing and saying what I was going to do anyway. We're working on it. We're working on it. But instead of doing, you know, just a review after that PLE or picking up after the fact and just start doing random PLEs, I just decided to do a kind of a year, a half year review. Okay, a mid-year review, if you will, of WWE and where it is right now, and kind of talk about that around just the PLE schedule, because if you are a wrestling fan, okay, even if you're just like me and just a WWE fan, bless your heart. It has been so hard to keep up with everything over the last couple weeks because there's literally been a PLE basically every week all summer. Like, I know it's been like every other week, but it would be two some weeks. So like if you just divide that all out, but thank God to Santi's app for actually doing all the research. There literally was a PLE every single week for the summer. Or let me say is, because it is still we're still in the middle of summer. But though I'm trying to think of, do I want to, I was just about to kind of spoil how I feel about that overall, but I'm going to wait and save that to the end. So let's just start with how the year kicked off with if you see me looking down, I am looking down on my phone. Usually I don't have notes or anything like that. Today, had to, because there is a lot of events. It's 23 events on the thing. I think actually 3 of them are just ones that are scheduled for after, SummerSlam, Bash in Berlin, SummerSlam, Clash in Paris, and War Games are on the list. So 20 PLEs so far. This is also including NXT live events as well, because I am an NXT. I love me some NXT. They be having NXT be so much fun. Like, that feels like the college brand for some reason. But anyways, because I'm already on a tangent and I barely started the video. So we should see how that is probably a preview of how this whole thing goes. Hold on, I just realized my coffee is out of reach. I need that to be right here. Okay. So we go grab these and move these over here. Okay, let me just sit there. Oh, so good. All right. So we're going to start this video off talking about the Raw Netflix premiere. That was the first, technically the first premium live event, although it wasn't really a premium live event. It was just like it was like a special presentation. That's what I would call that. But it is listed on the premium live events list, so we're gonna have to talk about it. And the match card was Roman versus Solo Sikoa for the Ulafala. Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan for the women's title. Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre, and CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Overall, I like. Okay, so I didn't go back to like rewatch the matches or rewatch the PLEs just to reevaluate my opinion on them. Maybe that's something I'll do for a later video, like maybe like the year end review. We'll think about that. Although that just means that's more for me to watch. Yeah. I will say though, just looking over the card, I only remember really caring about two of these matches after they were said and done, which was the Roman versus Solo match and CM Punk versus Seth, just because I am a huge Seth Rollins fan. Excuse me. I'm a huge Seth Rollins fan, and I was super pissed that he lost that match. Um, Even though it was kind of obvious that CM Punk was going to win. And, you know, hindsight being 2020, I'm okay with CM Punk winning this match because my boy Seth got to win that Mania. But overall, like, if you was to look at this, like, look at this match card and be like, how did this impact, like, the rest of the year? Because this is, like, the first show of the year. This was the big Raw Netflix premiere. This is, like, I felt like it was supposed to kind of set things up moving forward. I don't really like the Roman versus Solo match was okay for the story of it all, but after the fact, they really didn't do much with Roman being tribal chief. Like they didn't like reinstitute the bloodline anyway. Like he kind of just started to do his own thing with Paul Heyman up until WrestleMania. Um, so that being what it is, like it just kind of like existed. Like it happened, and it was cool to see Roman get the W over Solo. Um, and that kind of sent Solo off to kind of build his own bloodline too. Again, well, yeah, I was about to say it was kind of the second time he had to build another bloodline, which they didn't even name that the bloodline. Um, and then with the title match between Rhea and Liv, this is when we like. I feel like a whole lot of the fandom was just like, "Can we please be done with the Rhea Ripley Liv Morgan feud?" Like it dragged for far longer than it needed to. I think if they wanted to continue to have like this feud happening, maybe they could have just gave Rhea the title back months before this, and then just had this match happen as like a last ditch effort for Liv Morgan to challenge for the title. Whether they wanted her to actually win it, you know, as a surprise win to kick off the year, like, or they just say, you know, like, hey, you challenged for it, you lost, now it's time for you to go do tag team stuff with Raquel. Like, either one of those two things would have worked for me more than what actually happened, which was just, okay, Rhea finally wins the title back, and then that's that. Uh, so that one was kind of a letdown. Then Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. I'm trying to think about this. I feel like this was also when Jey Uso was on a bit of a losing streak when it came to big matches. So I was also very pissed that he lost this match. Um, However, again, I will say if we are trying to set things up for the future with this first show, uh, I guess that was really the story. Was Jey Uso was like kind of seeming like he wasn't good enough all up until Rumble season. So I guess that kind of worked, but as much as I love me just some Jey Uso, I don't really live for Jey Uso matches that much, you know, especially when it's not big story stuff happening. And there really wasn't much happening here. It really just seemed like, hey, Drew McIntyre had a banger year. We have to give him something. And it was like a kickoff Netflix for us. All right, then the main event, CM Punk defeating Seth Rollins. Like I said, I didn't really care for the result of this match, but WrestleMania made it a little sweeter for me. I'm not gonna lie. Um, and I guess you do kind of want to end the show with the with one of the big baby faces of the company actually winning because it kind of, you know, sends everybody home on a high note, you know, in a good mood. And yeah, like it did. Well, you kind of thought that after this match, at least I thought after this match, that it was like, okay, CM Punk is done with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is done with CM. Well, not so much because it's like if you lost the match, it's like, nah, I ain't finished until I get my win, big dog. So I guess it kind of works for that point. Um, Overall, the Raw Netflix premiere, I wanted to say I gave this show an A. Like I think it was an A show in execution, it just didn't really do a whole lot for me in the moment. Let me see to be sure though. I'm gonna have to edit this part out of me just going back to look. Okay, so no. I had it as just a good show. It was really good. Not great, not perfect, really good. So solid B for Raw Netflix. And moving along, moving along. Oh my god, I just did Mona. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do that. But also, when you love somebody, don't you just like imitate them sometime anyway? Just cause love you some Mona. Anyway. Next, after the Raw Netflix show, we had New Year's Evil, the first PLE from NXT this year, and that started off with Julia versus Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's title. She beat her for that. I do remember that being a big deal because this was just after Julia got signed, Stephanie Vaquera got signed, Zarya got signed. So there was a lot going on in the women's division there. You can tell that they really wanted to kind of shape up. They were definitely getting ready to take some of the top tier talent from NXT, move them up to the main roster and kind of replace them in a way. And they did a hell of a job. I feel like NXT was in a way better place after Roxanne Perez and well, actually, Julia got called up at the same time because she was just that good. Same for Stephanie Vaquera, basically got called up a couple weeks after because she's just that good. But it seemed like they really just wanted to kind of give Julia that title so they can have Roxanne go do other stuff. But if I remember correctly, Roxanne was still in NXT for a little while. But then after that, we had the number one contenders match for the NXT North American Women's title. Or is it NXT Women's North American? It is NXT Women's North American title. Anyway, Stephanie Vaquera, Cora Jade, Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan. Stephanie Vaquera, of course, was going to win that match. They were pushing her to the moon immediately as soon as they signed her. And then we had the Fatal Influence versus Shotzi, Gigi Dola, and Tatum Paxley match. Sad that 2 or 3 of those are gone now. Because it did seem like they were really trying to do something with that little faction, but never really. They obviously decided to just get rid of them right after. The NXT Heritage Cup match. I really hate those. I hate a Heritage Cup match. Like, I think that if they don't get rid of that thing, please get rid of that thing. There's no purpose of having that thing. But Lexis King won that off of Harley Dempsey. I'm pretty sure that was with he basically cheated to win that. I'm pretty sure that's how that went. And then the NXT Championship Triple Threat match with Obafemi, Trick Williams, and Eddie Thorpe. I do believe this is when this is like the official end of like the whoop that Trick era. Could I be wrong? Yeah, no, they kicked off the year with Trick Williams losing his title to Obafemi because I remember that happened, and I was like, okay, so the story is going to be how does Trick Williams find his way back to that title, and it wasn't. But overall, I feel like I remember that being a decent show. Again, kind of the same way with the Raw Netflix premiere. You, at least in my brain, this being the first PLE of the year, you kind of want to use it to kick off, like how everything is going to go moving forward. And like looking at the card, the only thing that kind of holds true to that is Obafemi winning the title because he is currently still holding on to the NXT title. Lexis King with the Heritage Cup stuff was just like it happened. I honestly don't remember much happening in the middle of him having that. Like, I think all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Noam Dar came back and beat him for it. Like, it was really a nothing burger of a whole situation. Um, Same goes with having Tatum Paxley, Gigi Dolan, and Shotzi all defeat Fatal Influence. Fatal Influence literally won a title after that, or they were holding on to the NXT North American Championship at that time. So having them beat them in this kind of team versus team match, but then not having any one of those three ever beat Fallon Henley for the NXT North American Women's title just kind of felt a little weird, honestly. Like it kind of seemed like they didn't know what they wanted to do, so they just did something and then was like, "Oh, I have a better idea," and then moved on to Stephanie Vaquera. Um, and then Julia winning the title off of Roxanne Perez. It was cool because I think up to that point I really just wanted to see Roxanne lose that title because I just started to hate her as a heel. She was doing her job pretty well. Like that seems so funny. It's like they're a good heel. You're supposed to hate them. So I mean, yeah, it worked. It worked, but I desperately wanted to see somebody else win that title. I remember when she had her match against Jordan Grace, and Jordan Grace was still signed to TNA, and I was wanting Jordan Grace to win that title. Uh, yeah, overall, New Year's Evil was a decent show for sure, but I think similarly to Raw Netflix, I had that as just being a perfectly good show. Not a great show, definitely not a perfect show. Um, but good. But good. Just looking over the match card, I don't necessarily remember any of the matches, not gonna lie, and I feel kind of bad for that because I feel like the Fatal 4-Way, the triple threat match, yeah, the Fatal 4-Way and the triple threat match, I feel like I remember those both being really good. The triple threat main event, not the triple threat tag team match. Um, that's not a triple threat tag team. Triple threat tag team would be if there was three teams and they were all going at the same time. Never. I'm sorry. Sometimes my brain does that, and most of the time I have to do it out loud. I can't just. It doesn't stay in there. So it's unfortunate, but it happens. Um, After New Year's Evil, we move on to the first Saturday night's main event of the year. Was held in Texas, in San Antonio. And they started the night with a rehash of a match with Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax for the Women's World Title. Um, I really like Rhea Ripley and I love me some Nia Jax. I do not care for their matches against each other at all. At all. Like, I do not need to see them ever in a singles match ever again. Okay. Then we had the WWE Intercontinental Championship match between Braun Breaker and Sheamus. Them, you can put them in the ring any day of the week. I will watch that a billion times. Like that, I will never forget that spear off the when he jumped off the steps. Ooh, ooh, that like Braun Breaker is just. I'm so jealous. Why would they put that much athleticism in one body? It's not fair. Then we had Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu. That was a okay match. It really was just to kind of put an exclamation point on how much of a monster Jacob Fatu is because he lost that match due to disqualification just because he wouldn't basically just wouldn't stop beating the hell out of Braun Strowman. Like, excuse me. Braun, after this match, was supposed to be off the roster, off of our screens for at least a couple months. Like the fact that they had him pop up in the Royal Rumble immediately after was just a huge disservice to Jacob Fatu, in my opinion. Then the main event was the World Heavyweight Championship match between Gunther and Jey Uso that pissed everybody off because this was like hindsight being 2020. Like it was okay for me because honestly, even in that moment, I don't think I was that mad because I always had that feeling that he was gonna win the title at Mania. So in my mind, it didn't really matter what they were doing leading up to there because I'm like, I know that the payoff is gonna be worth it. Yeah, I was half right. Um, but overall, I do remember this show being a bit of a womp womp. Like, if this wasn't the second Saturday night main event as a whole, then this was the third, and that means that we all came to the conclusion of being like, okay, Saturday night main event is not a important PLE at all. It is a glorified exhibition match, um, or it is a glorified house show with a bunch of glorified exhibition matches, and they could be good. Like there have been like going down the list, further down the list. I know there are some pretty decent Saturday night main events, but it's just it don't feel like a main event. Like it just feel like it happens, and if you're into wrestling, you'll watch it. Like it happens, and if you're not doing nothing else, you should take a look at it. It might be a little fun for you, but a main event it is not. So I do believe I had this one. I think this is the first show to be like a yeah, y'all could have yeah, yeah. This was a rebook it. I put this down in a and rebook it. Definitely. I don't I just don't know what could have been better about this show. Like Braun Strowman, not Braun Strowman. Honestly, yeah, both of the mid card matches, like they could have kept, like they were fine. The opener and the closer was the problem, which is like a definitely a problem with any show. Like if you didn't open strong or finish strong, do you not do you not understand the art of performance? Anyway, after that, we move on to the Royal Rumble, and I am not gonna hold y'all. I was not mad at the Royal Rumble. I actually really like the Royal Rumble. The only thing that really truly bothered me, like irked my soul, was that Nia Jax spot in the Battle Royal Battle Royale when she eliminated like six people, and they were like all of like the top faces and heels in the company, and she just like boop, knocked everybody out in a spot that was really sloppy. Like I feel like two of the women like kind of eliminated themselves. They didn't even wait to like get knocked off. It was just messy. Like it honestly just highlights a bigger issue that I have with Nia Jax booking as a whole. Because like I said before, I love me some Nia Jax, but there is always this. They always try to market her as like the monster of the women's division, but they don't really book her like that all the time. Like, and I feel like she's one of those people. Like her presence kind of warrants being treated like that all the time. Like if in my second go around get back into wrestling, I remember when they were about to debut or when they were debuting Awesome Kong in the WWE, and they made her seem so terrifying. I feel like that could be like similarly like they could do the same thing with Nia Jax and it would work so well, but they don't. And this moment where they could have just literally had her go on a legit rampage where she just tossing bitches back and forth just out the ring. Like, why have this super sloppy, clunky, messy spot of everybody being all of a sudden on the outside of the ring, and then boom, she just goes and knocks the ball off. It's so lazy. It's so lazy. I can't get over that part. But I love Charlotte Flair. I do. Like if Bianca Belair is my favorite women's wrestler, Charlotte Flair is right underneath her, and I could not be. I guess like if they would have saved her return as a surprise instead of spoiling it, maybe it would have hit harder for me a little bit. However, I think they were being preemptive and they knew that people would not be too fond of Charlotte coming back and winning the Royal Rumble. So they gave her the package before the show and kind of just let them know, like, hey, she coming back. So be ready. Because y'all know what happened when Charlotte Flair comes back off an injury. Um, yeah, I did mind her being the winner. I liked it that it was her and Roxanne Perez being the final two. Although, literally, as soon as it was her and Roxanne Perez, I'm like, she's literally still in NXT. They are not about to have her win the Rumble right now. So yeah, I was cool with Charlotte Flair winning. Love that Charlotte Flair won. And then we move on to the tag team match, which was a good match, but it did not belong on a PLE. This was a Friday Night SmackDown opener, if I've ever seen one. Um, I can't remember, I cannot recall what storylines were happening at this moment, but I know that for sure that there is one that could have warranted a spot on this card of this match. But it was a fine match, DIY beat Motor City Machine Guns, whatever. And then definitely remember what happened to her Because this is the third match was Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens, and this is when he took the Winged Eagle title from him at Saturday Night's Main Event and made a whole thing about it to the point where they had to have the ladders match for both of the titles. It was a pretty great match, honestly. Unfortunately, Kevin Owens did. I ain't gonna say he got injured in this match, but that ladder spot didn't help. But it did help solidify it as a great match. Like, you know, the big spots always help to me. But overall, I'm not a Cody Rhodes fan, so I tuned out to some of his matches. I'm not gonna hold you. I cannot lie. I cannot tell a fib. But it was a decent match. And then the Royal Rumble. Obviously, I'm a huge Jey Uso fan, so I remember I was at work. I believe if my boss at the time was watching this video, he definitely remembers me out of nowhere just screaming and selling. Oh, shit! Hey, I was so hyped. This was my Super Bowl moment. But yeah, no, Jey Uso winning the match was everything. Even I love that they had some fun spots in there. Like obviously we had the big ISO speed getting speared to. Like I don't even know where that's where he got speared to. I've never heard of that place by Braun Breaker. Second best spear we've seen all year. If you know, you know. Okay, second best spear. I also like this is around the time Pizza just recently got signed, so they put him, of course, put him in the Royal Rumble. Obviously, he wasn't going to win it, but they did make him the Iron Man of the match, which was dope. I like the spot between CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. Obviously, that set up their WrestleMania matches. Matches as if they had multiple matches. Set up their WrestleMania match. So anything like that, like to me, the Royal Rumble is definitely a place to build some storylines, and I think that they did a decent job of building some storylines. They definitely could have done better because I feel like a couple of the matches at WrestleMania would have felt like a bigger payoff if they had been set up during the Rumble. Either way you put it, though, it was a good show. I definitely had this. If I could guess it without looking at my ranking, I do believe I had Royal Rumble as being a great show, mainly because only one of the matches out of the three was the one I didn't. I only didn't care for one of the matches out of the three. Man, the words be in my mouth fighting. Like, which one comes out first? Which one? No, I'm first. No, I'm first. It's like, dude, chill. So yeah, Royal Rumble was the first great show of the year. Again, not perfect, but it was a great show, in my opinion. I do remember the online chatter after the fact. So many people were hating on Jey Uso being the Royal Rumble winner. So many people were hating on Charlotte Flair coming back being a winner. And I think even more than Jey Uso winning the Rumble, they were mad that he eliminated John Cena. Especially because it's this last Royal Rumble. Nobody really cares. So, moving along to next we have, after the Rumble, we get to Vengeance Day for NXT. And that kicked off with Stephanie Vaquer versus Henley Fountain. Why did I say her name right like that? Why I did that? Nobody will tell you to did that. Why you did that? Stephanie Vaquer versus Fallon Henley for the North American Women's title. Obviously, she beat her for that, which I remember being very happy about that. Just because, again, kind of just wanted to see Fallon lose the belt, and I wanted to see Stephanie win. I wanted to see Stephanie win more than I wanted to see Fallon, because Stephanie, oh my god, Stephanie Vaquer is so good. The NXT Tag Team Championship match. Bleh. I hate the NXT Tag Team division. I'm not gonna hold you. It's a waste to me. But Fraxium did win against Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. I think honestly, I just knew that they were not dropping those belts to anybody. Like it was kind of the Cody Rhodes effect. After he took the belt off of Roman, where it's like, I know some of y'all's not winning this belt off of him, so it's kind of it doesn't really feel important. So I don't really get that invested into the storyline of it all. But then we had the strap match between Eddie Thorpe and Trick Williams, where Eddie Thorpe actually got a win. Totally wasted that, considering they fired him long after. Ethan Page versus Javon Evans. I do believe this was after Javon Evans had his whole like jaw broken or whatever by Ethan Page, so it was like kind of a grudge match, and Ethan Page did win. And then we had a triple threat match for the NXT Championship between Grayson Waller and Austin Theory and Obafemi. The fact that they had this match with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, who are both like a tag team, and they did not use this match to really tell the story of A-Town Down Under breaking up. What was the purpose? What was the reason? Like, that had to be the plan, and something else happened to just make them pivot. Because the opportunity to really do something worthwhile with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller was right there. And they was just like, whatever. And then the show finished off with the NXT Women's Championship Fatal 4-Way with Julia beating Bayley, Roxanne Perez, and Cora Jade. This is kind of, they definitely threw Bayley in there to kind of just give Julia a win over somebody that was way more experienced. I vaguely remember Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade was kind of messing with Bayley at the time. So she just like kind of got involved. They were messing with Bayley, but also still trying to get the title back from Julia. And I honestly thought that they were going to put the title on Cora Jade just because she had just recently like came back from injury or something like that. And it was very clear that they were about to move Roxanne up to the main roster. Again, I don't know why they still had her down here playing in NXT for like this, but it ended up working out in the end. I can't say if I remember that being a good match. I honestly don't remember being too high on any of these matches besides the opener. So I do think before I get back to the thing, I think this is the first one I was low on as far as the PLE. So I'm looking back at the list now. Yep. This was the main event show was actually lower than this one, but this is a C, as in like it was a perfectly fine show. Like it wasn't anything offensively bad, but it also wasn't overly impressive at all. So yeah, Vengeance Day just kind of happened. I think I might have also kind of started to fall off of NXT around this time too, unfortunately. So getting back, I need to stop smacking my lips like that. That is so unsexy. It really is. Also, what is this side pony happening? What is this? Okay, it's just how the hair is falling. Because I'm like, why I look like I'm rocking a side pony? Anyway. Next up, we move on to Elimination Chamber, which, baby, I remember how this kicked off. Jay, soon as that match started and Jay music hit, oh my God. I was to the moon, okay? Because I live for Bianca Belair. I loved when her, Jay Cargill, and Naomi came together to be the big three. Definitely live for that moment. I mean, you got three gorgeous strong, okay, black women just coming together and just doing great things together. Oh, it was so beautiful. And then Naomi had to go fuck it up and fuck the date up because she got jealous. Let me go say that again just so I don't get nobody in black in this video because of my profanity. Don't nobody care. Yeah, as soon as Jay came back, I think they waited just long enough for everybody to start coming to the realization, like, yo, it was definitely Naomi. So when she came back and like you could see Liv Morgan kind of been like, no, like I didn't do it. There was like an inkling that she was about to take off on Liv just because of Liv's reaction, and Naomi was just like all calm there. Like obviously she was playing it off because Jade went and beat the shit out of Naomi. She drugged that girl all up and down that cage. You know what I'm saying? Slammed the door on her neck. Like it was bad. And then you had Naomi. You had Bianca Belair just trapped in her cage, just giving a whole Broadway performance. Just being in complete distress as she got to watch, her friend beat up her other friend. Um, and then it was just perfect that like they had her be the first. Of course, they was just gonna have her be the first cage to open up. Like, and they opened up right after that moment. Like everything was timed perfectly to Naomi being carried out, and boom, the timer is going down to open up another cage. Like I just knew that they was about to replace Naomi in like mid match and just call it audible, but they were like, no, we just about to let this play out, and it was great. It was great having Bianca Belair win the match was to win the match to become the first. I'm sorry. Wait. What was I about to say? What was I about to say? She won the Elimination Chamber to become the first woman to win it twice. I think that's a cool accolade for her to have. Pause. Dope for Charlotte to be the first women's Royal Rumble winner as well. So then, yeah, Bianca Belair winner was the perfect way for me, in my opinion, to kick off this show. And obviously, I was just glad that she got. She was definitely getting her WrestleMania spot, which got ruined, if you ask me. Then we have a match that should not have happened between Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus beating Nia Jackson, Candice LeRae. This should have just been the Trish Stratus versus Tiffany Stratton match. This should have been the payoff for what was that 2024's Money in the Bank, where they had a face-off backstage. Why would you have one of your biggest stars from the past face off with one of your newer big stars, like currently, and not pay that off with a match? That was so confusing. Like they really, it irritates me because even now, like they're saying, like, okay, this is supposed to be Trish Stratus's like 25th year in the company. I don't know if they didn't want to have her return, like also like overshadowing John Cena's, which just because of the schedule of John Cena's, they definitely could have just had them both coexist at the same time. The move was doing a storyline where, similar to John Cena, Trish just want to do it all at the highest level in her 25th year. It doesn't have to be like, oh, this is my last year to do it type of deal. So like she just want to make a big deal out of it. So have her have a feud with the current champion and let them have their match at the Elimination Chamber. Like, I am making this video after Evolution, which they did just have a match. However, having them have a feud that could have also maybe even intertwined with everything going on with them and with Tiffy and Charlotte. Have that also be involved with Nia Jax kind of having her match back. Like it could have even been a triple threat instead of just a tag team match throwing them together. I don't know. There was just so many different ways to do this instead of doing this, if that makes sense. So yeah, throwaway match. Honestly, anything else. The show was in Toronto. They would have popped for Trish Stratus versus Tiffany Stratton, and I don't think anybody would have cared if Trish Stratus would have lost at her hometown. Like it's perfectly fine. It's her first singles match back since the steel cage match with Becky. Yeah, why did that bother me so much? Anyway, Earth Station's match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It was a really good match. Kevin Owens won. The number one contender match. Okay, yeah, the men's elimination chamber. We're gonna go ahead and put the phone down. Let's say this. Ooh, let's take a sip before we go. So WWE really got close to having a perfect PLE. literally the only match keeping this card from being a perfect match for being a perfect card was the tag team match because the men's elimination chamber took some notes from the opener and said, "Hey, we also gonna finish this thing off with a bang, okay?" Which was the John Cena heel turn. Oh my god, to have John Cena win that match by reluctantly submitting CM Punk, like who came in here? I think it was Seth Rollins came in and hit CM Punk, and John Cena took advantage, hitting with the STFU and or STF or it's the STFU, yes. He hit him with a submission and then, what I'm saying, he put him to sleep. I don't think he tapped. I don't think CM Punk tapped out. Pretty sure he put him to sleep. And then, he wins the match. Cody and John are having a moment. And then, they go in for the hug. Then we get the infamous, the heel face of John Cena. And then the low blow. It capped off a damn good show. Again, one throwaway match. It could have been a perfect match card, but unfortunately they had to ruin it by not capitalizing on the hype for Trish versus Tiffy. So Elimination Chamber did sit firmly next to Royal Rumble as being a really great show. Almost perfect, but not quite there. And then afterwards, give me a second. I gotta go between pages and stuff like that. I ain't been going for no 45 minutes. NXT Roadblock. I feel like this is giving forgettable because what is a roadblock? Um okay, this is what we had Matt Hardy and Fraxium for the TNA World Tag Team titles. Yeah, the Hardy Boys versus the Fraxium. That happened. Did I even watch Roadblock? Yeah, no, I watched this because I remember watching Stephanie win those titles. So the fact that I don't remember this card is just I don't know what that says about me or this card, but we had that happening. We had Jordan Grace versus Roxanne Perez. Jordan Grace won the match. We had the NXT Championship match versus Obafemi. I said versus Obafemi. Obafemi versus Moose. Why don't I remember this? Did I only watch the Stephanie McCurry match? Because I don't remember this match either. Excuse me. Then they had a street fight between Javon Evans and Ethan Page. I feel like I remember that match, but Javon Evans got his one back. You know what I'm saying? He got his league back. And then Stephanie McCurry winning for both titles. Why don't I remember this card? Why don't I remember this card? I said it was a good show, but I don't remember it. Yeah, this is the first one where I'm like, I blank. Like I ranked it as a good show. Like it's firmly in the good. Like it was a good show, but I guess that's why I put it in good show. Because just looking at the matches, I know I enjoyed pretty much all of these matches. And I know I was a fan of all of these winners. Yeah, it had to be just like I know what I was feeling at the time. Um, Definitely probably the most forgettable of the NXT shows so far. Ooh, we go from one of the most forgettable NXT shows to one of the best shows, period, of the year, and that's Stand and Deliver. When I say that they had a point to prove by having an entire show before WrestleMania. They did because I remember the kickoff match that was. I don't think this was actually like a part of the show. Like it wasn't. I don't think it was like I think it was like one of those things where it happened like right before like the show actually starts. But it was the number one contenders match for the WWE Tag Team Championships, and Gigi Doley and Tatum Paxley had beat Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade, Last Legend of Jakara Jackson, and Fatal Influence, which was Fallon Influence, Fallon Henley and JC Jane. Why do I feel like that was a yeah, it was an elimination match. Yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, I remember that being a really good shot. Again, it pissed me off why Gigi Dolan and Shotzi were Gigi Dolan, Shotzi, Cora Jade, and Jakara Jackson. All of them put on such a good show not long after release. Um, and then it was Ricky Starks versus Ethan Page for the NXT North American Championship. Why them words, boy? Words be hard sometimes. Okay, forgive me. But yeah, I remember again it being a really good match. I like Ricky Starks and Ethan Page matches. Period. I really love Ricky Starks too. Like he's so charismatic. It's fun watching him perform. Then we had Hank and Tank beating Fraxium for the NXT Tag Team Championship. I don't like Hank and Tank. They can Hong Kong their ways. I was about to say Hong Kong their asses. Um, Somewhere else. I just don't. I don't care for them at all. Them being the teams to beat Fraxium was just like, okay, whatever. Um, then we had the NXT Women's North American Championship ladder match where Sol Ruka beat Zarya, Thea Hill, Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, and Izzy Dame. I feel like this was like the most aggressively okay match of all of them. Like Stephanie had just dropped this title just because she won both of them. She defended both of them for like a week, and then she was like, "Okay, I'm done with this. One, y'all can have this back." Because there's just too much talent to have anybody be a double champion. There's just no need to do that. Then we had Dark State versus the D'Angelo family. It was a really good match, punctuated by a really great heel turn from Stacks when he turned on Tony D'Angelo. I thought that was really good. Then we had the NXT Women's. I said it right. NXT Women's Championship Fatal 4-Way match with Stephanie Vaquera, Julia, Jordan Grace, and Jada Parker. Of course, Stephanie had held. I do believe this is when Jordan Grace was like actually getting signed. Because I believe that last match from the PLE was like her like debut as an official like NXT talent. Uh, and then this was just another loss for her coming after this championship again, which after this past week, another loss again. She's the biggest loser when it comes to that title. Hold on, probably not more than Jada Parker. I gotta go look research that now. Like, who's lost more NXT title matches between Jada Parker and Nora Grace? Then we had the oh my god, the fire ass triple threat match between Obafemi, Trick Williams, and Javon Evans. I'm being growing up watching wrestling. I had like Booker T, Kofi Kingston. I know he's not all black, but The Rock. Like when it comes to like guys who were really great and kind of treated somewhat great as well, like that's all I really had to hold on to growing up. Like just as far as like I hate being one of those people, but representation really is important. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know way you look at it. Like seeing people like that doing what they did, like it meant something to me. Okay, I cannot imagine child me watching Obafemi, Javon Evans, and Trick Williams show they motherfucking ass in that main event because they again when I say that they came out there like they all had something to prove. Like y'all gonna put us on the same day as WrestleMania? Okay, bet. Like Stand and Deliver was hands down the best show that day. Cause that like I can't even put it in words how great that match was. I actually want to go back and rewatch it as I'm just thinking about it, just so I can say specifically they did this, and this. All I can say is go watch it. Go watch it. I don't remember how long the match is. I promise it's not that long to where you can't take the time out your day to go watch the future of wrestling. Like, no, they're just so good. They're so good. All of them are so good individually. To put them all together in that match and for them to all come together and say, "Hey, we about to put on the best match of today." Like they did that. They did that. Um, I'm talking the match itself. The impact of the impact of matches goes to something that happens later on the very same day that we're about to talk about in a couple minutes. But Stand and Deliver was the first perfect show. Like I was so like that is the way you want to start your day. That is the way to start a WrestleMania Saturday. I went, got my nose pierced, came home, watched it and deliver, and it was like, yes, yes. So we had next up night one of WrestleMania, which, whew, actually, night one was the good night. Yeah, I had to look back. I had to think back and be like, no, night one was the night that I liked most of the matches. So we had Jey Uso beating Gunther for the title, which was like, yeah, I knew this was gonna happen. My nigga Jey Uso, let's go get that belt, okay? And at the on the big stage, okay. Um, yeah, love seeing that for him. Uh, it does suck a little bit that main event Jey Uso was not in the main event of WrestleMania where the Royal Rumble winner is supposed to get a main event spot at WrestleMania. But it's okay. He kicked off the show with the best vibes forever. And then we had a waste of a match with the World Tag Team Championship. Being defended by the New Day against the War Raiders. I believe this is one of the ones where they had them all dressed up in costumes and stuff to advertise some mobile game or something. I don't know. Could have kept it. This was a go home Raw show match. Everybody and their grandmama knows that this spot was supposed to go to the SmackDown Tag Team Division. I understand if maybe they didn't have enough time, so they didn't include all of them, but they should have made some time. After that, we had Jade Cargill defeating Naomi at WrestleMania. I remember not really being too fond of the match, even though I love both of the women involved. I was just a little let down by the match. The United States Championship being won by Jacob Fatu, beating LA Knight. I knew it was going to happen, so it didn't hit as hard as I wanted to. That's honestly probably could have been a squash match that I would have been okay with. El Grande Americano versus Ray Phoenix. I do, again, recall this being a really good match, came out of nowhere because Ray Phoenix just literally got signed by the WWE like a week before WrestleMania. So that was crazy. Ooh, and then the other letdown of the card being the WWE Women's Championship match between Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. This was a dream match that ended up becoming a nightmare. Like, oh my god, I was so happy to see Charlotte Flair, one of my favorites, one of the GOATs in my opinion, go against somebody who also have had some really great matches. Oof. The fact that they did not come together to create magic is a travesty. But Tiffany Stratton won. And then, oh man, match of the night: Seth Rollins beating Roman Reigns and CM Punk in the main event of night one of WrestleMania. Chef's keys, okay. Like y'all already know, I go up for Seth Rollins. So seeing him get that win was just like a. My heart felt like my face looks right now. You follow? Okay. It's just great. It's just great. The match itself, I want to say, was the second best triple threat match of the night. Ron Evans, over Femi, Trick Williams. Go watch it. But the actual execution of Paul Heyman turning on. Hold on, wait. Because leading up to this, Paul Heyman had said that he owed CM Punk a favor and that he would back CM Punk for WrestleMania, which means that he was already kind of turning on Roman because he is Roman's wise man. So you had Paul Heyman turning on Roman Reigns for CM Punk. So you had Paul Heyman already turning on Roman Reigns for CM Punk, and then within the same 3 to 5 minutes, you had Paul Heyman turn on CM Punk for Seth Rollins. Bitch, I was gagged. I was gagged, okay? And I believe it was just all kind of boiled down to Steph choosing not to beat the shit out of Paul Heyman on like one of the during the lead up to WrestleMania and being like, "Hey, I didn't beat you up. Now you owe me a favor," which is not how favors works. But the execution was everything. It made me so bad. It made me so bad that they did not just have them main event night too, because this is how you close out WrestleMania. This didn't lead into anything that happened in night two, so I felt like it was perfect to have this happen on night two because it led to everything that happened after WrestleMania. Get what I'm saying? Uh, but then on night two of WrestleMania, I might have to eat my words. I don't know who had the best triple threat. I gotta be real. I gotta be real with myself. Night two kicked off with the second best triple threat match of Mania weekend, which was between Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and my baby Bianca Belair. Oh my god, this match was so great. Oh my god. Like you got three of the best. Don't play with nobody name involved here. Like Io Sky, like you put her in the ring with anybody, she gonna deliver. Rhea Ripley is like one of the most over wrestlers right now, period. And also it pains me to say it because I'm not a fan, but she is also damn good in the ring. Like, there's few people that she has a bad match with besides Nia Jax. Her and Nia Jax don't need to ever wrestle together again. They never in a singles match. And then Bianca Belair, who baby go deliver every single time. Don't play with the EST. Okay. But it did sadden my spirit. It saddened my soul that they had Bianca lose. With everything going on between Rhea and Io, they could have just had them being so focused on each other that they kind of just. Well, the story was that Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair was kind of like forgetting about Io, so that's why Io won. But I think something about that. I just don't like the way it happened, especially considering how they booked Io after winning this match. It's just I just feel like it would have worked so much better if Bianca wins her moment at Elimination Chamber. Like it's obvious Io is who she's going up against at Mania, but then Io had like a whole match set up with Rhea Ripley where she was going to defend the title. Or damn it, I had it all messed up. Rhea Ripley had the title, and then she was feeling herself and got into it with Io, and they had a whole match where Io ended up winning it off of Rhea Ripley. I think at that point, the move was, I am Io Sky. I'm one of the best in the world. I could beat both of y'all, challenge y'all to WrestleMania. And then maybe they could have had her lose to Bianca Belair anyway. And then, had to just kind of eat that for a second and be like, ooh, I called y'all both out at the same time. I ain't mean to do that. And maybe we even go back to a heel Io Sky during the time. I don't know what multiverse I'm living in. But in the world that I'm currently in, Bianca Belair lost at WrestleMania. Ugh, I hate even saying it. Like, technically, she's still undefeated in singles competition. I bet you. Anyway, I can move on past that. I got to. The street fight between Drew and Damian McIntyre. Drew and Damian McIntyre. Drew and Damian McIntyre. Why did I marry those men like that? Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. Another worthy good match. Like, they kicked off with a fucking banger of a triple threat match. And then moved on to another banger of a street fight match. Like, night two of WrestleMania was giving everything that needed to be gave with those first two matches. And then it continued with the Fatal 4-Way between Dominic Mysterio, Penta, Braun Breaker, and Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship. And giving Dirty Dom the win at Mania was like, oh my god. The bigger oh my god moment was he got cheered. People were cheering for Dominic Mysterio, a man that they would not even let talk on the mic or Raw or SmackDown. Like it was. And then I mean, you just throw Pizza, Braun Breaker, Dirty Dom, Finn Balor, all so good in the ring. Throw them together in a match, and they did. They delivered. They delivered. They did. So, like I still, they really gave him a title win at Mania, like a singles title at Mania. That's crazy. Uh, then we had the waste of the night with Randy Orton doing an open challenge. They gave Joe Hendry his WrestleMania spot. I had to make sure I said his name right. They gave Joe Hendry his WrestleMania spot, and he lost. It is what it is. Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. They looked like they tried to have a real wrestling match. Logan Paul matches do not work when they try to have real wrestling matches. They have to have a Logan Paul match, okay? Which is spectacle of the night. Okay, we are trying to create a social media moment. That is what works for Logan Paul. They shouldn't deviate from it. Then we had the tag team championship match between Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch, who we found out after the fact who disposed of Bayley beforehand so that she could team with Lyra Valkyria to beat the Judgment Day for those titles, which ended up being a waste anyway. And then we had the flop of the night between John Cena and Cody Rhodes, with John Cena putting on I don't say the worst match of his career, but I guess the whole goal, storyline wise, was he'll ruin wrestling. Well, you did that by ruining the main event of WrestleMania. He did win the title, the never before seen 17 greatest champion of the world, whatever. I hate the match so much. If they swapped this match with the triple threat from night one, it would have made WrestleMania as a whole feel like a way better show. In my opinion only. Just my opinion only. Because, they would have finished strong. Overall, WrestleMania was like, I was like trying not to include the build in my ranking of the PLEs themselves. I was really just trying to focus on the execution of the shows. But WrestleMania was definitely a C show. Like, it was fine. It was not, like, it had its moments that were really, really great. But the lows were just so low that I couldn't give it more than just, it was fine. Which after my reintroduction to wrestling, so WrestleMania 40, WrestleMania 39 being like the ones that I experienced, this was by far the weakest one. Like, full stop. And then after that, we had Backlash, which was in St. Louis. So, of course, they made a big deal out of that because that is Randy Orton's hometown. So, we got John Cena holding the title. We got Randy Orton's hometown. It's John Cena versus Randy Orton for the title. And, of course, Randy Orton won't win it. But starting at the beginning, we had Jacob Fatu defending the United States Championship against Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and LA Knight. I remember that being a pretty decent match. I mean, anything Jacob Fatu is a part of is going to be great. Dude, it's just like all gas, no brakes. Yada what I mean, Then Lyra Valkyria defending the WWE Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch because literally the Raw after WrestleMania, they lost the titles. Becky blamed Lyra. She turned on her. Boom, they start feuding for the title. Then Dominic Mysterio defending the Intercontinental Championship against Penta. I feel like that was also a really good match. It was just obviously Dom is not about to lose his title right after Mania. And one of the bigger talking points of this match card was Gunther versus Pat McAfee because they had this whole story where Pat was talking with Michael Cole about, Gunther tapping out at Mania. Gunther got pissed, tired of the tactical commentary. Pat was defending Michael Cole and proceeded to get his ass kicked by Gunther. So they had a whole last match. Should have been a squash match, but they decided to actually give Pat moments, and it did actually work. I'm not gonna lie. It was fine. And then it moved on to the main event, which I did not care about because I don't care about John Cena or like, please, nobody don't RKO me out of nowhere in public. I can't put this shit out. I'm not a fan of Randy Orton either. Or let me say this: I'm not a fan of Randy Orton matches. Like, since I became a wrestling fan again, it's something that I paid attention to. I kind of zeroed in on it accidentally. Like back when he was teaming with Matt Riddle, I was like, all he does when he gets to the ring is like he'll do. I'm sorry, it'll be like snap suplex, hangman DDT, RKO. Like, and it wasn't like one of those things where all wrestlers kind of have their 4 or 5 big moves that they're going to do in a thing. There was a stretch of matches where that is literally all he did. Like Matt Riddle will get beat up, he'll go for the high tag, snap suplex, hangman DDT, RKO, like clockwork, and it was so annoying to watch. But I would say after that, like he's been a part of some really great matches though. Like it all depends on who he's going up against. He's going up against John Cena. It wasn't going to be a groundbreaking thing. Like the spectacle was seeing John Cena and Randy Orton back in the ring together again after having such a long history together. They could have kept it anyway. Backlash was a Let me see. What did I say? What did I say? Again, kind of followed up with right along as the WrestleMania. A perfectly fine show. Was it good? I mean, was it great? Was it bad? Perfectly fine. And then we move on to Saturday night's main event in Tempe, Florida. Why do I keep saying words like this? I don't know. I don't know. This is when we finally started getting into, Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker building a faction with Paul Heyman. So we had a tag team match between them and CM Punk and Sami Zayn. Obviously, they beat them. Excuse me. Ooh, we had the first lull. I feel so bad for Zelina Vega. She deserved so much better. Um, she won the U.S. Championship on a episode of SmackDown, and it was cool to see. Like, I really want to see some good matches out of her because I know she can work in the ring. But there was some that 619 spot where she ended up breaking Chelsea Green's nose was so bad. And even leading up to the spot, the match was just not good. It wasn't. I wanted to cry a little bit on the inside. I really did. Then we had John Cena versus R-Truth. Really kicked off a great story for R-Truth. Steel cage match between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. I liked that Drew got his win back against Damian McIntyre. I did it again. I did it again. I like that Damian Priest got his get back against Drew McIntyre from Mania. Yeah, we also had that. This is the whole Jesse Ventura commentary. Why you walked out of the door? It's so late. You walked out of the door. He's just, he could not get over. He could not get off of Damian Priest's back on the commentary. And then Jey Uso defending the World Heavyweight title against Logan Paul. It was just nice to see Jey Uso keeping his title, not being a transitional champion. Even though that there was a lot of people out there floating around that it would be a good swerve to have Logan Paul win. I'm glad that didn't happen. I feel like this was... Looking over the card. Let me see. Actually, look over the card again. Yeah, no, this was a good show. This is a really good show. This is a good show. Because outside of this Zelina Vega match, I remember being pretty high on all of the matches themselves. So, yeah, that was a good card. Or, I'm sorry, correction. That, let me see exactly where I ranked it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was good. I was about to say that was a great card, but I'm like, I don't think it was great. But yeah. After that, we got to NXT Battleground, which kicked off with Sol Ruka versus Kalani Jordan. They I mean, they set it off right. Like they're both former gymnasts, so they do kind of have a lot of that. It looks like a dance kind of aspect to their matches, but they did take away from it being an entertaining match to me. So it was really good. And then we had a tag team triple threat happening with I'm sorry, I keep saying triple threat. I mean it kind of is a tag team, but it's 3 versus 3 instead of 2 versus 2. We had Josh Briggs versus I'm sorry, Josh Briggs and Hagen Tank. See, I don't like them so much that I tried to like X them out of the existence in this match. But they were going against the Culling, which was Sean Spears, Brooke Jensen, and Nico Vance. Of course, they beat him. I don't remember what was happening storyline wise. I think it was just a whole like Inamura had went back to Noah, so there was like Josh Briggs was like all sad or whatever, and he like got into it with the Culling. So like Hagen Tank decided to help because that's the only thing that WWE really does with tag teams. Is like, oh, singles big Carter gets attacked by a tag team, so now the actual tag team start to get involved instead of just doing legit stories with tag teams. We had Stacks versus Tony D'Angelo in their first match against each other. Don't remember being too high on the match itself, but I think that Luca Crucifino actually like accidentally played into the finish of the match. Side note, Luca Crucifino is fine as hell. NXT Women's Championship match between Stephanie Vaquer versus Jordan Grace, which is another L in when it comes to Jordan Grace trying to go after the NXT Championship. Miles Bourne getting beat by Obafemi for a title shot. It was just all about, showcasing how good Miles Bourne is as a singles wrestler. He is really good. I don't care for the character at all, but it's one of those supposed to like heartwarming babyface stories that like I am so jaded. I don't know what's wrong with me, but every time they try to do the goody two shoes, like, oh, we have to support this person because it's so inspiring to something in me goes blah. And then the main event was Trick Williams versus Joe Hendry for the TNA World Championship, kicking off the whoop that Trick era in a whole other company, which is crazy. Like, I love that for Trick Williams. For him to be the first NXT star to hold a TNA title while still being contracted by WWE, I think that's super dope for him. I genuinely hope they never fumble him. Like, I hope he is a WWE lifer. Overall, Battleground, I do want to say, I think this is another one I was really high on. Yeah, like, this was a really great card. Like, Soruka and Kalani Jordan, they're so great in the ring together. And then, you had Trick Williams taking the big belt. Miles Bourne and Obafemi put on a really great match. Anything Stephanie Vaquer is just that great. But also, Jordan Grace is really good, too. And then the whole rivalry between Stacks and Tony D'Angelo was that was a good way to have a match between them two. The storyline kind of carried that match. Like really, the only thing that I could have done without was Hagen Tank versus the Culling. I almost had a perfect card, but not so much. But we do move on to a perfect card right after. So moving on to what was a perfect card after, gotta talk about Worlds Collide. Like this. Okay, so I woke up that day and was like, "Oh, this is happening." Man, was I glad it was happening. They started the day with the star of the weekend, the star of this entire show. Okay, Mr. Iguana and La Yesca. I so badly want a La Yesca hand puppet. If I was in a place in life right now where I was spending a couple dollars on useless things instead of prioritizing responsibilities, I would 100%. There would be a La Yesca on my shoulder as I record this video. Okay. Do not play with me. And I'm gonna get one. Okay, I'm gonna get one. But it was Octagon Jr., Aerostar, and Mr. Iguana beating Dragon Lee, Cruz Del Toro, Cruz Del Toro, and Litz Dorado. I believe that Joaquin Wild had got injured in the show, so they had to replace him last minute. Then we had Stephanie Becker and Lola Vice versus Dalis and Chick Tormenta. That is not. I'm not mocking. Anytime I say, usually when I say like Spanish words, I do so with the Spanish accent, just from speaking Spanish. Uh, in certain places, I don't speak fluent Spanish. Please do not. Please do never approach me speaking Spanish. I'm gonna look at you like I don't know what you're saying, even if I do know what you're saying. I'm sorry, don't do that. Because now the pressure is on, and I have to know. I have to say the perfect reply back. You know what I mean? See, this is what happened with the Brain Just Rebels. After that, we had Legado del Fantasma against Hijo del Vikingo Wagner. No, Hijo. See, these words, they be playing too much with these names. Because why is his name so close to the main eventer? It's El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. I'm about to go Google what El Hijo mean. But Pagano and Psycho Clown. Okay, I remember this match just because of Psycho Clown. I like just the gimmick seemed kind of fun. Then we had to get some NXT title love over here with Ethan Page versus Ray Phoenix, Siobhan Evans, and Laredo Kid for the NXT North American Championship. It's Fatal 4 match. Fatal 4 way. Like, come on, you're missing a whole word, man. The words are not that hard. Especially when I'm looking at the phone and reading them. I swear, y'all, in class, I was never this kid. Like, I used to do well. Like, my head used to shoot up first, and they'd be like, hey, read a paragraph. Because I'm like, bro, I'm about to kill this shit. What is wrong with me? Then the main event for the AAA Mega Championship was El Hijo del Vikingo versus Chad Gable. And I could cry. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. The fact that we ain't seen El Hijo del Vikingo on any like WWE program, it kind of hurts a little bit because I'm like, use that man, him and Mr. Iguana, use them, please. Let the partnership go both ways. Okay. Well, actually, does it work better for them to take the WWE stars and be like, hey, WWE idols, come over here with us, AAA? Or, because I'm like, I always think about that. Like, which, not which audience is bigger, but who benefits more from that? If you're watching AAA, are you definitely a WWE fan? Because if you're not, then then it would help to be like, hey, AAA guys, come over here to WWE, so that way AAA fans can see that there's something to watch over here, something to enjoy over here for them too. Yes, no. I'm saying that as if any of the partnerships have worked on me, though. As a WWE fan, I have not watched a TNA show. I have not watched a AAA show. I have not watched a Noah. Fucking, what was the other one that, was it GCW that Karrion Kross and Natalya had like matches? Yeah. GCW Bloodsport I don't know if Bloodsport is like a specific show or that's the brand, but like it doesn't work on me. Like I don't go and try. Mostly just because I already have like my wrestling plate is full when it comes to WWE by itself. Adding more on top of it would just be gluttonous at that point. So moving on. Oh wait, yeah. Well, no, I don't have to go to confirm. Like I know for a fact, Worlds Collide was the first perfect show of 2025. Like, what does that say, WWE, when it's not even a prime WWE show to be the best WWE PLE of the year? Do better. Anyway, Money in the Bank kicked off with Naomi, Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, and Roxanne Perez, Julia, and Stephanie Van Really quickly, this match had more vibes, more Evolution vibes than most of the matches on the Evolution card. We'll come back to that later. But, man, this match unfortunately continued the broken streak of the women showing up the men with the gimmick matches on the PLEs. It's been a couple years now since, or not a couple years. It's been a couple shows since the men's match has actually been better, because there was a long stretch there where it was like, it don't matter what's happening, which gimmick match it is, the women are about to outshine the men. It didn't happen this time. There was like so many spots that like just took too long to set up to where when it actually happened, it didn't feel really worth the setup time. And there was just like a lot of clunky moments. Like the honestly best moments probably came from Roxanne Perez and Stephanie Becker, which is kind of crazy considering you have Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, Naomi all in that ring as well. Julia is like, she was good, but not gonna lie, I don't remember much that she did in this match. But I do love that Naomi got the win. I'm obviously said it before, huge Naomi fan. Um, of everybody in that match, I feel like she definitely made the most sense as far as winning the briefcase. My biggest critique of that moment is the fact that you could see the hesitation. And I mean, they're just trying to be safe, but I would say it was at the risk of like the entertainment value of the match. Was that last second of Naomi about to tip over the ladder with Rhea Ripley and Alexa Bliss both being on the top of it. She kind of hesitated and like waited for them to get like halfway down the ladder before she really went and tipped it over. I think both of them being this was Rhea Ripley's first ladder match, so I guess she's not that experienced in this type of stuff. But Alexa Bliss, at the very least, like was definitely experienced enough to be able to. I think they could have taken that bump from like the top of the ladder. If I'm just thinking about it in my mind, they would have went straight from the top of the ladder, probably into the ropes, which does not sound like completely painless, but maybe even they could have did a reverse of not a reverse, but another flip on what happened last year with Tiffany Stratton and Chelsea Green, where some point of another could have had a table kind of waiting down there and having two of the stars being up there at the top fighting for the briefcase and then being thrown through a ladder probably just makes that bit. I mean, thrown through a table, just probably makes that spot more impactful. A little bit dangerous, but they're professional wrestlers. I'm pretty sure they could work out the safety part of that. No. Anyway, yeah, Naomi won. It was a good win for her, even though the match wasn't that great. A nothing burger of a match was the Intercontinental Championship match between Dominic Mysterio and Octagon Jr. This was literally like a, hey, y'all just had a show a couple hours before this. You were in part of that show. Come be a part. They were actually a part of Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio were in the crowd and kind of got involved in their match. Like it was a little thing, so that's how this kind of became a match right after. I don't think this lasted more than 5 minutes, so it was kind of they didn't need this match. They could have just left it where it was. Then we had the second match between Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria for the Intercontinental Championship. And they even put a stipulation on this where if Becky Lynch loses, she cannot challenge for okay. I was about to say, like, wait, why did they worded this so weird? Like, the stipulation was that Becky Lynch, or I am so sorry. If Becky Lynch lost this match because Lyra was still the champ, that she beat her already, that she wouldn't be able to challenge for the title again while Lyra is champion. They haven't worded it here until Lyra is champion, which is, it was throwing me off so bad because I'm like, what do you mean? But if Becky lost, she couldn't get another shot at the title, and then if Lyra lost, then she would have to raise Becky's hand, acknowledging her as a better wrestler. And this also kind of ties into the story that they had in NXT not that long ago, before Lyra got called up, where Lyra beat Becky for the NXT Women's Championship. Lyra and Becky could have matches until they're fucking 60. I don't care. They could have matches in a wheelchair, and I'm pretty sure it'd still be great. Like, that is how good they are in the ring together. So that was a really great match. I like that Becky won the title, just to add more pedigree, more importance to that title. Because before this feud, Lyra won that belt and wasn't even appearing on TV for like weeks at a time. And if she was appearing on TV, it was nothing involving the title. Like, I believe once or twice, like, it happened at least twice, I feel, where she was competing for singles gold or an opportunity at singles gold while she was literally already holding on to the big card title. I get it, it's a big card title and she's a rookie, but at least try to make it seem like other people want that belt to make that belt feel more important. Um, and make it seem like keeping that belt is more important than trying to win another one. But then we get into the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which was way better than the women. Uh, like I love. Hey, I am chanting women's wrestling all the time in my heart, but the facts are the facts. The men showed out that night. Obviously, because it was Seth Rollins, LA Knight, Solo Sikoa. Why did I feel like I said his name wrong? Penta, Andrade, and El Grande Americano. Those three right there, Penta, Andrade, and El Grande Americano, elevated this match for sure. Seth Rollins did what he was supposed to do every single time. He gonna deliver every single time. But them three added everything that the women needed for their match to make it more impactful. Like this, all of the spots worked. That one where where Grande Americano goes up a ladder outside the ring to like do a pendulum situation and hop off that ladder onto the ladder in the ring to go for the climb. Like that was like, oh my god. Like how you did that? But it was good. Obviously they had like I'm pretty sure Seth Rollins at the time was like on the ground holding the ladder to make sure that, the pendulum part went the way it was supposed to. Outside of that, Seth Rollins winning was like the right choice to me. I also even liked how it almost became a little bit of a Bloodline Rules ladder match with, Solo Sikoa having his people come out and then Seth Rollins having his crew to come out to combat Sikoa's people, and also so they could stop LA Knight from winning the briefcase. It was a pretty perfect overbooked mess. Perfect car crash. Perfectly overbooked car crash. That's what it was. And then Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes teaming up to defeat Logan Paul and John Cena was like, it happened. It happened. This pisses me off actually because of things that happens after with Cody Rhodes, them feeling like they needed to put him through the whole King of Ring stuff when he literally pinned the championship. If you pin the champion, I'm sorry, if he pinned the champion to win this match. If I pin the champion, I'm going for the championship title. Like I'm not going through any more hoops to get a title shot after that. Like that's it. I beat you. And they should have did that with Cody. They shouldn't have put him to the King of the Ring. They should have left that for somebody else. But anyway, Money in the Bank was I want to say that this was, it was just a good show. It was just a good show. At least that's where I put it in my mind. Let me go through it. Let me go through the best card again real quick. Yeah, it's just a good show because really, when it comes to like great matches, it's really just the Intercontinental match and the men's Money in the Bank match. Yeah, I think that's perfectly fair. All right. moving along to Night of Champions. Okay. Now, Night of the Champions, Night of Champions. So when we decided to cap off the rushed King and Queen of the Ring tournaments, and we started with Cody Rhodes defeating Randy Orton to become the 2025 King of the Ring. Again, he literally pinned John Cena at the last PLE. He shouldn't have had to win King of the Ring to get another title shot. Could have very well just been like, I'm getting another shot because I beat you. Even if they wanted to tell a different story, which they could have just had John Cena or somebody associated to John Cena get involved in the qualifier match, cost Cody the match so that he couldn't face John Cena at SummerSlam. So there would be like a sense of like he's scared to face Cody because Cody already pinned him, so he knows that if you face him 1-on-1 that he's not gonna beat him. Like, make that the story and make it even more of a chase for Cody. You know what I mean? Like, because like as of right now, like you just handed him another opportunity to get back to the title when he should have been handed it after the pin anyway. So just putting him through this tournament feels pointless. Somebody else could have really benefited from that spot. Like I really disagree with this that decision to put Cody Rhodes through the tournament. And like the match was only okay. The moment where the turnbuckle comes out, Cody uses it against Randy, whatever. If they wanted to do that to set up a heel turn again, Cody being pissed that he's being cheated out of another title shot would have been a perfect way to set up another Cody Rhodes heel turn, in my opinion. And moving along, the street fight between Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez was fucking amazing. There was obviously, I was about to say there was no title involved because neither one of them had a title. Well, I mean, Raquel had the tag team, but like you can't compete for that in a singles match. That would be a good wrinkle to see one day. No, that would actually be really dumb. It's tag team champs. Great match. They got good chemistry. Moving along. Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross was kind of upsetting because I am also a Karrion Kross fan. I really wanted this match to be undeniably great. It was aggressively okay. United States Championship between Solo Sikoa and LA Knight. The swerve of Solo Sikoa actually winning made this great. I did not think Solo Sikoa was winning this match. Why did I say LA Knight? Why did I read LA Knight off of this phone? That is clearly Jacob Fatu. The swerve of Solo Sikoa beating Jacob Fatu very much unexpected, even with the possibility of Hikuleo debuting, which is now Talatonga. Ooh, I hate that name so much. Like, they debuted Hikuleo on a dark match on SmackDown. I'm not sure if it's a dark match or a main event match. I'm not sure. But there was definitely reports that he had a match. So as soon as that came out, I was like, okay, he's probably debuting at the Champions. And he did, helped Solo win. So the Queen of the Ring final with Jade Cargill versus Asuka. Man, another one where I really wanted this match to be undeniably great, and it was aggressively okay. And honestly, it would have been fine had Jade not botched the finish. Like, I would have been perfectly okay, but like it just, the crowd was already not feel. I ain't gonna say not feeling her. They weren't cheering for no black women. Clock it. They was. I want to say that they didn't even boo Naomi when she came out. Like, it was no noise. Which, as a performer, you rather get booed than to have silence. So yeah, that was trash. Some people were like trying to give that crowd like outs and stuff like that of, oh, you can cheer them for whatever you want to, or they're doing so much better than they did in the past by saying blah blah blah. I'm like, no, I don't need nothing important or impactful to happen women's wrestling wise in front of a Saudi crowd. That is just me, my opinion. Okay. Then the main event, John Cena versus CM Punk for the championship. Of course, CM Punk was not about to beat John Cena. It ain't happening for you, buddy. This belt doesn't go back to anybody except Cody Rhodes, okay? So Night of Champions was pretty okay. Which is why I just said it was fine. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't great, it wasn't good, it was fine. We finally wrapping this thing up, so I'm so glad. Because obviously, as I record, I can see the recording time, and we are pushing 2 hours. Ooh, why can I not make anything? Why can I not make these more concise? With editing, I probably am. After Night of Champions, we had the Great American Bash, which kicked off with Javon Evans and Jasper Troy. I think it was a good match. This just happened. Why can't I remember this? It literally just happened. So Wooka versus Izzy Dame. I thought it was actually really good because it started with Izzy Dame like taking advantage of the ref being distracted and just like hitting Sal Ruka with her finisher. And basically, like, she got a 3 count. But she really stayed on top of her pretty much the whole match until, Sal Ruka was able to kind of come back and keep her title. It was a pretty good match. Ethan Page and Ricky Saints. Again, it was a Falls Count Anywhere match, which, the more opportunity to do some crazy stuff. And I already said before, Ethan Page versus Ricky Saints, I like those are two people who can do no wrong inside the ring. Then, yeah, yuck. We had the NXT Championship match between Omofemi and Yoshiki Inamura. I'm sorry, why did I have that reaction? I just don't see it for Yoshiki Inamura. I'm not. Not like him, but I'm also not. I don't care. I don't care. So, and as soon as he was the one to be lined up as the number one contender for Omofemi's title, I was just like, I don't care about this match, and I'm glad it did main event. The main event was what it was supposed to be, which was Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe against Fatal Influence, JC Jane and Fallon Henley, kind of just setting up a title match for the next show between JC Jane and Jordan Grace. It was really just more of debut match for Blake Monroe, which it was fun. It was fun. And I did go ahead and give Great American Bash it was a good show. And I did make the ranking closer to me actually watching this match. So I want to say that maybe it was or watching the show, excuse me. I would say that it was probably the fact that the matches were actually good that elevated the show from just being a fine show, if you know what I mean. And wrapping it up soon. We got the last Saturday night's main event, which started with Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. Jelly Roll and Logan Paul being involved was just like, okay. I am so tired. So tired of seeing Jelly Roll look like a fucking sad clown every time somebody started getting beat up. Go help them. That's what you're there for. Go help them. Don't nobody come out to the ring with somebody, not be in a match with them, or just because it bothers me that much. Literally, Randy Orton will be getting his ass kicked, and Jelly Roll just right there crying. What are you out here for? If you want to, you can cry from the audience, bro. It was just annoying to watch. It really was. It was so irritating to watch. For him to like I said, they're trying to build for that moment of him actually going to help him. It's it's unnecessary. People they're gonna cheer no matter what because you're helping out the star. But glad Randy Orton won the match. Don't need Jelly Roll and Logan Paul teaming up with Drew and Randy for SummerSlam. But if the match is good, the match is good. If it's fun, it's fun. Whatever. Solo Sikoa defending the U.S. title against Jimmy Uso really was just about the return of Jacob Fatu, unfortunately. And I really want Jimmy to end up with it. I hope the next surprise for the U.S. title is Jimmy winning that title. Everybody in his family is holding on to a belt besides him and Roman. Well, the Ula is kind of the title. I'm just saying. Although, is he even still wearing that? I guess I gotta go watch the newest episode of Raw to see if he's even still wearing. I don't think he's wearing the Ula Fala no more. I love how we just quietly retired that. Anyway, Seth Rollins versus LA Knight. Oh, I want to cry because they was starting to cook with the storyline with Seth Rollins and the Vision. I don't know if that's their official name, but I'm gonna just keep calling them that until they make it their official name. They're the Vision. It was a really good match until Seth Rollins got injured. Shout out to him. He is such a better man than me because if I know that move, because somebody even posted this is literally the same injury, the same way he injured his match versus Jinder Mahal last year was doing that same with the springboard moonsault. I would literally retire that move. I wouldn't do it no more. absolutely not even put my knee at risk. Like, but shout out to him. Obviously, he's doing it all just to put on a good show for us, the viewers, and like I appreciate it. I hope that he makes a speedy recovery. Like I hope that he does some serious Wolverine healing factor type of recovery to that knee because I need Seth Rollins on my screen. I can't do a whole year of no Seth Rollins, a whole year of no Oscar. Made me forget how much I love Oscar. Don't do this to me. I will never forget how much I love Seth Rollins. I'm sorry. Okay, all right, being a legend. And then the main event was Goldberg's retirement match. It was fine. That's fine. I wasn't the biggest Goldberg fan. They did win me over the last couple of weeks to where I was like actually catching myself walking around screaming Goldberg, Goldberg. But other than that, it was a dope novelty to see him have some of those moments against Gunther where it's like, oh, could he actually win this title? But it's like we knew he wasn't gonna win that title. But that Saturday night's main event was okay. Let's see what I actually ranked it really quickly. Yep, just fine. Just a fine show. The Seth Rollins injury really puts a damper on this entire show for me. Not even gonna hold you, because as I'm looking at the even with so if Seth Rollins didn't get injured, it would be a 3 out of 4 really good match card, which would probably just boost it up to like a great show. Honestly, I did the Jelly Roll stuff, which is like get him off my screen. Also, changed his name. He's not that big no more. Um, wrapping up the show. The reason why I'm glad I actually waited like a week or so to do this video. Ever fucking uh Evolution. The build up to this show just made I was so sure. I was like, y'all are setting the women up to fail. Like y'all really booked them against Beyonce and AEW. Why would y'all do this to them? But whew, like there was reports that the women themselves were not happy with how everything was built as far as evolution goes, like or at least like the lack of care put into promoting that show. They 100% walked into that arena with that chip on their shoulders, and every single match you just watched every single one of those bitches just go eat that bitch like aggressively, because from start to bottom they showed the fuck out. Okay, like okay, let's actually get into the actual part. So we had the triple threat between Becky Lynch, Bayley, and Lyra to reiterate something that I believe I can't remember if Santi or Simon Miller said it, but literally any combination of Becky Lynch, Lyra, and Bayley, you can throw them in the ring and they're going to put on a hell of a match. And that is exactly what they did to kick off the show. I mean, and it's also crazy because they're all like technical wrestlers. Like, there's no one of them was like a high flyer to give them like some of the some more dynamic spots. Nobody's like a powerhouse to give them some powerful some strong woman spots. Like it was really just a bunch of really good raps, like a lot of really great wrestling. And even with the finish of instead of the typical person hits a finisher, they get tossed out of the ring. The person who tosses them out the ring goes for the pin. Like it was Bayley hit her finish, and then Becky came in and rolled up Bayley. Like just surprised her right off rip. Oh my god, it was so good. It was so good, and I'm so glad Becky won the title because that means that they can choose to continue the story between these three, which has been so great and just really good for the title itself. Um, I cannot get over how good this night started out. And it continued with JC Jane versus Jordan Grace for the NXT title. Obviously, they just had a tag team like literally the night before with Blake Monroe. So Blake Monroe came out with Jordan Grace. And Jordan Grace specifically asked for her to be out there because JCJ was definitely going to come out with the rest of Fatal Influence, Fallon Henley, and Jasmine Nix. So Blake Monroe was there to be her backup. Well, turned out to backfire on her because if you don't know, Blake Monroe was originally Mariah, or before was Mariah May in AEW, and she had a really popular storyline where she turned heel on Toni Storm. Her being a heel was probably the best thing for NXT, so they quickly decided, "Hey, we're not doing this Blake Monroe babyface thing," and had her turn on had her cost Jordan Grace the NXT Women's title. In the end of that match, where like there was a bunch of distractions going on with Fatal Influence getting involved, attacking Jordan Grace, and then Blake Monroe decides to start helping out a little bit, and then I don't know where she just boop bops Jordan Grace in the back with the title and cost her the match. Again, adding to Jordan Grace's losing streak with the NXT Women's title. It's just like a fun thing happening to me. But it's also dope that JCJ retained because, everybody, as soon as she was the most beatable champion. She was a transitional champion. And now she's actually going on the reign. Dope for her. Next, we moved on to the tag team fatal four-way between Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, and Soruka and Zarya. Zaruka, if you will. Now, I was really, really hoping that we was going to see a title change. The swerve of us not only not getting us title change, but us seeing how dominant they were able to let Raquel be in this match was everything I needed to be. Because I love Raquel Rodriguez. I love, honestly, all of the powerhouse women are like some of my favorites. Like I love kind of seeing the strong woman spots and like also like it when there's somebody going up against them that's smaller than them, and like you have to watch them kind of overcome those insurmountable. Why did I just freeze on the word? They just cannot overcome all of those obstacles. I might have to cut that whole thing out. I might just leave it in. It's a daring, like, hey, I'm smart, but I'm also not as smart as I be thinking I am. But it was really dope just to kind of see, them building on the bond between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, with them, starting off as kind of like, we're not friends, we're just allies on convenience, to, Charlotte Flair literally saving Alexa Bliss from a really devastating spear from Zarya. And also, that moment kind of, Zarya ended up hitting Soruka, so that's probably going to lead into them finally having a story where they're going at each other, most likely for the NXT North American Championship, and possibly so that we could just go ahead and move Soruka to the main roster. She needs to be there. Overall, it was a really good match. Like I said, love seeing Raquel actually getting the power spots and being dominant. And Judgment Day retaining was the swerve that I didn't know I needed, because I was just so sure that they were going to put those belts on Alexa and Charlotte. Like everybody involved in this match, like they're the bigger stars, so you want to kind of put the belts on them, maybe, bring some more importance to that division. But instead, having them lose the match and then possibly have to go on another journey to get another title shot, even better. Then we move on to like the weakest match of the night, in my opinion, which is saying that, I have to be honest, was still a pretty good match between Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. The match that we should have got at Elimination Chamber. I will say that this was the most Evolution feeling match on the card, because you did have a icon of the industry, icon of the women's division in Trish Stratus, going against you know, the new face, one of the new faces of the company, and Tiffany Stratton. So that kind of did feel like, you know, you got some of the new, some of the old, like that felt evolution like, and this was the only time that it felt that way in the whole match card, in my opinion. But like I said, it was a pretty good match. Not anything super impressive to talk about. I mean, it was dope seeing Trish Stratus do a moonsault. Never seen that before. Um, and then I feel like there was a moment where like when Trish Stratus doing a moonsault, then I think Tiffany Stratton went for a chick kick. Did she? She did one of Trish Stratus moves. I thought it was a dope little spot to have, but it was perfectly fine match. Um, and then we move on to the no holds barred match where Naomi was beating the shit out of Jade Corrigal, like the whole, almost the entire match. Like also that spot where she kicked her into the TV, then you just see smokes and sparks flying up. I thought somebody was actually hurt there, but I think that might have been planned, um, which was executed well to me. Then it was I felt like it was obvious that Jay was going to win because usually whenever they have one person being super dominant in a match, if it goes on for too long, like it's just enough like time for the person to get beat up to kind of come back and hit a couple key shots to secure the win. Whereas like if they get beat up and then it is like it's going to be like a squash match, like you can kind of see a squash match coming. But once Jay started getting offensive or getting some offense back in, I was like, okay, then they're probably gonna Jade is probably gonna win this one too, which was a little upsetting because Jay did already win the WrestleMania match, so I was hoping that Naomi got a win, but because of how things went, I am not upset. It did seem like a waste to have Bianca Belair be a special guest referee. Like, what was the purpose if she was just gonna be a regular referee? Ooh, that coffee's so good. Excuse me. And then we move on to the Battle Royale, which I've seen people say that they didn't like this. I love the Battle Royale. I like Battle Royales, period. I will say I kind of do prefer the Royal Rumble more just because you watch the amount of people kind of build up in the ring as opposed to starting with a bunch of people. Because usually when you do those typical battle royales where there's a bunch of people in the ring, a lot of people, like a third of the people in the ring, are about to be thrown out within like the first 10 to 15 seconds. And they don't really get time to shine. Like Izzy Dame, Tatum Paxley both went out pretty early. Uh, I feel like Jada Parker went out. Like a lot of the NXT girls went out really early. The only one to really hold strong was like they gave Kalani Jordan the Kofi Kingston spot of, you know, almost elimination, save yourself, get back in just to later on get eliminated anyway. Uh, but Lash Legend actually did get a lot. Like I said when I did my WWE ranking that when I saw her, I was like, okay, this girl clearly has star written all over her. Clearly, somebody in WWE feels the same way because they let her go to be like she ended up being like in the final two, and she got a lot of really dope spots in the entire battle royale where it was like they're clearly highlighting her and setting her up for hopefully a call up. Hopefully, they did not fire or get rid of Jakara Jackson and split up that tag team just to continue to not do nothing with her. Like, please put a belt on this woman. But I am glad that Stephanie McCurry won. It was kind of obvious that she was going to win. She's like the biggest star that doesn't have a title, in my opinion. Probably or like out of the crop of newer stars. Let me say that. Then the main event. Oh, the main event! Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. I should be banished. Oh, oh! To quote a movie I haven't even seen yet, I should be purged. Oh, forever doubting Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. But no, I was 100% one of those people that was like, oh, the main event of Evolution is just Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. We've seen this match before. We know they have really good chemistry, so it's going to be a really great match, but I'm not really excited to see it. And then the bell rang. Baby, if anybody on that entire card had a chip on their shoulder, if anybody had the biggest chip on their shoulder, the crunchiest chip on their shoulder, it was Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. They was like, not only did I not promote our card the way it was supposed to be, but y'all fans out here talking about something. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky again? Y'all running this back again? Oh, we seen this man before. Man, they showed their entire ass. Like, again, to reiterate what I said about Trick Williams, Obafemi, Javon Evans, if you have not watched that match, I don't care how much time you need to take. I don't know how long the match is, okay? I think it could be 20 minutes. It could be 30. It could be an hour, okay? Watch it. Because they are so fucking great in the ring. Like, it is... Okay, back up. Let me just... Can I even talk about the spots? Can I even talk about Io Sky being on those production boxes, doing that crossbody off the production boxes? Do I have to talk about the fact that they had a ref bump before that just so they could get some more out of the ring shenanigans? And it worked so well to elevate that match from great to amazing. Do I have to talk about that ref bump leading to Rhea Ripley hitting a riptide and technically getting the win over Io Sky? But there was no ref, so there was no count, so the match does not end. Okay? The final, 5 minutes of both of them clearly being so gassed, but trying every last ditch effort to keep one or the other from being able to hit that last move on the other person, just to end up, Spanish Fly, bow. This is your last warning. Naomi music hitting in the main event of that show, after she just got put through a table face first by Jade Cargill. Baby, I'm so glad that I was in my car on a delivery while I was watching this. I didn't say that I watch TV while I drive. You didn't hear that. When I tell you I screamed so loud when her music hit, I screamed louder when she hit that split-legged moonsault on Io Sky after throwing Rhea Ripley out the ring. Well, first of all, she popped Io Sky. She cracked Io with that briefcase so quick after they said this is a triple threat, no disqualification. Oh, no disqualification. Bop! Got in the ring, threw Rhea out. Boom, moonsault. Boom. Title win for Naomi. Oh my god. I was so fucking happy. Because the foregone conclusion was Io's gonna lose the title to Rhea because it's Rhea, and because they have been setting up this story of Rhea Ripley not being able to beat Io Sky 1-on-1. It's like, okay, this is finally the place where it happens. It did not. Naomi came in with that briefcase and said, maybe this is all me, this is all mine, and you hoes can go somewhere else. Baby. 3-time Women's World Champion in WWE, Naomi. I love it for her. I do. So, this card for the show to be so underpromoted was a perfect fucking show. Full stop. One of the best main roster PLE of the year. Who was it? Girl, the women, they did that. And ain't nobody gonna say nothing about it. Looking at the PLEs that's left for the year, y'all gonna have to work hard to show them up. And in WWE, y'all gonna have to work real hard to justify not making Evolution a regular PLE after this one. Now, of course, there's the whole argument of was it a financial success? I promise you, promoted the right way, set up the right way, it is damn sure gonna be a financial success because there's no signs that point to your women's division not delivering when called upon. Like, at the very least, if they don't make the Evolution regular show, the women better start receiving equal amount of representation on these PLE match cards. I bet not see not another PLE with one women's match on the card. So serious, because every single match they went out there and said, "Oh, y'all don't want to book us? Oh, okay, got you. Bet, bet. Oh, y'all don't want to tell beautiful storylines with us? Bet." Got you. Got you. Oh, y'all don't want our titles to feel important? Bet. Got you. Got you. Oh, y'all want to do away with the women's tag team division? Oh, watch this. Like, every single match on the card. Like, even with the couple, blunders, a one or two botch there that I'm really, honestly, I didn't even notice for real. The lackluster execution of a Trish Stratus versus Tiffany Stratton match, even with that, perfect show. So, all in all, midway through the year, WWE's doing okay. Like, all of the PLEs have been good besides one, and that was a Saturday Night's main event. Like, all of the shows have been, I can say, not even just good. Excuse me. Yeah, no. Most of them have been good or better than good. Only like two or three of them just reached fine levels, and one was please go rebook this again. So I so desperately wanted to say that the amount of PLEs is a problem for WWE. It's not a problem. I would say that because the shows themselves are still like hitting, but the build doesn't really hit for a lot of them. Like if I was including the build to a lot of these shows, I feel like the rankings would be different. But I'm trying to just judge the shows themselves. And moving forward, I just hope they can at the very least continue the trend of where they left off with Evolution of having 7 matches on the card. Because this 3 and 4 don't work for me. 7 seems like a perfectly good number. I don't think any match was too long. I don't think any match was too short. Everything, like, it flowed so well. Like, it was like eating a perfectly good balanced meal. Okay? My foodies out there know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's a good year so far. It could be a better year. Um, the one of the big 4 not hitting, or really is it more so the big 5 now? Because you got Rumble, you got Elimination Chamber, you got Mania, SummerSlam. Is War Games kind of? I feel like War Games is a big, like it gets thrown there to be like now it's a big 5. No, Survivor Series. I feel like it's a big 5. So 3 of the big 5, 2 of them were great shows. The most important, in my opinion, WrestleMania being 2 nights, being a letdown is, I feel like that's just like, I feel like that's signs that when it comes to Mania, the builds are very important because usually Mania kind of caps off a lot of stories. I feel like it's almost it caps off stories and sets up something moving forward when it's supposed to. And I just felt like this one didn't do that the way it should have. And even if it did, the execution of the matches was just like not that great. So I don't know. But so far it's been a pretty decent year. Obviously I'm still a WWE super fan. I ain't going nowhere. I have been missing my baby Bianca, but that's just because she been under mania. So you know I'm willing to be patient. Um, I also did come in here like to start the video. I wanted to say that if I was to highlight some problems on WWE, I would say one of the problems would be that there's a lot. There's an overabundance of main event level talent, and I wanted to say that that was a problem, but like the more that I think about it, I think it helps to have a lot of moving parts in that main event scene because then if something does happen, like when Seth Rollins getting injured, they can kind of slot somebody else in, do some restructuring of things, and things can still execute and hit hard. Um, Maybe not as hard as the original intended storyline, but it could be something worthwhile. So I guess it does help to have that much talent available. However, in a way, I feel like it is taking away some time for some meaningful mid card storytelling. Like, I feel like the tag team division, especially on Raw, the men's has been very trash. The women's tag team division has been non-existent up until a couple days ago, and I think if at the very least, they could do better at trying to tell some more stories in the mid card. I feel like it doesn't have to be like a big long thing like a bloodline storyline or anything like that, or a long drawn out blood feud words blood feud like Naomi and Jade. But even if they wanted to do something like a match based feud, which I don't even know if that's like terminology actually, but I'm making it a thing if it's not. Like how they did with Andrade and Carmelo, like having the 7 match series, like they're just like we're about to fight and prove who's better than the other one. Like they could easily do more of that between the mid card and maybe those type of feuds, just advance character, narratives and stuff like that. Um, Honestly, it's really just nitpicking because, um, like, it's a massive company. They can't do everything perfectly. They can't do everything at the same level. And honestly, to some extent, things should be treated with some level of like some level of importance on a different level, like for each one. Like if it's a world title, you should value that a lot more than a mid card title. But they should not be treating these mid card titles like they don't matter, which I think is the position that they found themselves in when it comes to women's tag team, Raw men's tag team. Uh, the Intercontinental title is kind of falling off a little bit, but I think that's just because the whole old Dom is playing like he's injured, so he doesn't have to face AJ type of storyline, which I'm not really too high on that. Uh, I feel like the only reason the U.S. title feels so important is because John Cena is holding the world title and he's not there regularly, so they have to fill that time in with more U.S. title stuff. Um, because the women's U.S. title is not really nothing's really happening with that. I don't. Where's Julius? What was Julius feuding? Who is she feuding with? Like you can run back her and Zelina Vega, maybe do something meaningful with that. Uh, it's the same way because like I've been seeing, one of the recurring thoughts from one of my favorite creators, Santi, has been that like Julia should go on like a Gunther style run with that title, and I feel like Gunther's run did have a lot of feuds where it advanced the character story for the people that he was facing up against. So I think that would be a really good way to build out the mid card women's scene on SmackDown. Hopefully they do that. Take some cues from Becky and Lyra and Bailey. Maybe get one of the main eventers involved with that title. I like as much as I do like Alexa and Charlotte teaming up, going after the tag team belts. I do think it would be kind of cool to see one or both of them go after the U.S. title. Uh, Maybe that's something that could build over time, so that maybe they win the tag team belts, but then one or both of them tries to, bite off more than they can chew by going off after the second mid card title, and then that, kind of caused dissension, and them butting heads over that singles title causes them to lose tag team titles. Then maybe they just do a regular one-on-one feud. See, why am I looking like this? Why am I just like, who asked for all of this? Nobody. But all in all, like I said, great year for WWE. Just want to see more importance on the mid card belts. Like, it's a title, man. Make it feel like a title. What else did I want to talk about for the year review? Ooh. So the last time I did a WWE video, I did say that I wanted to briefly touch on some of the people who were released that I would love to see make a return to the company, or just some of the people names I've seen outside the company be in WWE, because I am a WWE person. So obviously I just want you to be a part of what I already watch, rather than me having to go and, ingratiate myself in a whole new audience. So along that lines, let me just rattle off a couple quick names. Just to start off with, so really quickly, people that have been released to WWE that I am like, it hurts my soul, and I really hope they find their way back. Obviously, none of these people are like, or I ain't gonna say obviously, but none of these people are like huge big names. They just have to pay top dollar to get back. This is just like people I enjoyed seeing there. Would love to see in WWE more. Would love to see more from them. So that is why I want to see them back in the company. Starting with the least, not least important, but just like not really relevant in ring, Samantha Urban, bro. Bring her back, bro. I really missed hearing all of the fun she used to have with the entrances. Ludwig Kaiser. I have not heard that in so long, and I feel deprived. Okay, like even though they added the "It's Chelsea Green" to her opening, it's not the same of her being actually introduced that way. Okay, so yeah, Samantha Irving. I miss hearing her do the opening. They just see her gorgeous. Oh, she was so gorgeous. And then same line, just go right next to her, Ricochet. I miss Ricochet. I liked Ricochet. I don't care if he wasn't great on the mic. He did what he was supposed to do in the ring. Okay, over delivered in the ring, if you ask me. So yeah, Ricochet. KC2. KC2. It's like somebody in WWE saw my video and was like, "Oh, you think they're great in tag teams? Show this. We can get them out of here. The tag team division can still be great." And they got them up out there. Oh, exaggerating. Nobody probably saw that. But the fact that they just like they're way too good in the ring to just get rid of them. Like, I I hate to use the term jobbers, but like you kind of need enhancement talent in the division. Like, who 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 do the women in the tag team? Who do other women's tag teams go against to prove how good they are? If not KC2. Like, they are that good in the ring where it's like if you can beat them, you got something on your hands here. And for them not to use them that way, like for them to have been the longest NXT women's tag team champions and not be treated that way once they got to the main roster is a travesty. The fact that they lost those belts to Ronda and Shayna of all people, to who what did they do? Unify the tag team belts all for nothing, and they never got a chance to hold those again before getting released. It's just wrong. And then along in the same division, Jakara Jackson, like, again, I said it in my video that Lash she has the it factor far as being a star, but them two together work so well that if women's tag team wrestling was of any importance, you keep them together. Outside of that, who else got released that I really, really enjoyed? I ain't gonna say I really, really enjoyed him, but I was surprised to see Eddie Thorpe get released because it seemed like they were trying to do something with him, and then out of nowhere, it was just like, oh, boop, you're out of here. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? I want to say That might actually be it. I do think that's it. I do think that's it. And as far as people outside the company, as you know, like, well, actually, she was in a company. Now that I think about it, I just wasn't watching at the time. But every time I see a clip of Tony Storm, it makes me think. It makes me want to watch AEW. But then I made that comment a couple times on social media, and everybody in the comments was like, "If you're only going to watch for her, don't watch it because you won't like it, especially if you're a WWE fan." So I've been scared off by that. But anyways, anywho's, that is how I feel about this year in WWE. So why don't you share your thoughts with me? You know what I'm saying? Let's like I said, the comment section is a safe space. Okay, let's actually give me a chance to prove that to you. I'm not just this is not lip service. Okay, this is not just WWE when Triple H says he listens to the fans, and then you know what? Take that back. They had to listen to the fans. The Reworld Truth Chants was loud. Every show. Every show. That was hand clap for Mr. Ron. Okay. Every Ron killings. It's just so funny to hear see people online be like Ron under lives because I don't want you to deflag the word killings. But I get it. Anyway, yeah. Hope you liked the video. I hope you actually liked the video, like by clicking thumbs up. Again, I do want to. Maybe I'll do because I did say I didn't want to necessarily do like daily wrestling content. I don't want to necessarily do weekly wrestling content, but just as a way to retain the information better. Maybe I'll try to do like a weekly thing where I will just rank all of the matches across the three shows, something like that. So that way it gives me a way to like regularly talk about the stuff. I retain the information, retain how I felt about them, so that when I do the next half year or year end review, everything is a little more fresh. But yeah. Until next time, I've been Gid, aka speaking the truth, because that is what I do. See you when I see you. Peace out.